Certain things in this world can't be described. Objects that have been exposed to such huge amounts of pressure that they transmogrify into something unknown. Something just beyond words.
There's no better time to see what you're made of than right now. If you were waiting for the opportune moment, now would be the time to look the devil in the eye. Call it a traitor, call it a fraud, call it crude. Do whatever you need to do to justify defeat. Drown in obscurity, then throw it to the gallows, then watch it come back. Again, and again, and again. Forget ABS, forget traction control, forget everything been told is a lie. This is a purist. This will humble you. I don't want modern technology smoothing over my mistakes. I don't want anything diluting the human spirit. I want something vicious. I want something treacherous. I want something to expose every chink in the armour and to force me to know on the route of progression.
Here at Feathers and Tarmac, we want you to join us on a journey. I've been fortunate enough to have owned and driven a huge amount of cars with varying levels of performance. I've never been a person to pursue status or recognition. A badge to me, whether it be in Nissan, Ferrari, Porsche, McLaren, Lotus, means nothing. What concerns me is what it can do. So when I say a car is brilliant, you know I'm giving you integrity.
Lee Noble's genius was woven into the world of this chassis. This chassis just feels incredibly rigid, like the front end feels like there's absolutely no play in it at all, no flex at all. It's just, wherever you point that wheel, it's just almost in a precognitive state. This whole car is based around aero. You've got cutouts here to release pressure in the rear clam. Even the rear clam, the shape of it is set up to just create downforce along with the wing as well. And also the rear diffuser is a custom carbon piece, further out and more aggressive in its setup. The air intake scoops on the side have been pulled off an M400, which just bring in massive amounts of air. And following on from that, the door has been shaped in a fashion to manipulate the air and send it into the rear scoop. On the bodywork, there's a little space here in between the bodywork that releases pressure. It's just all these intricate details count.
It's hard to show how much grip this car has. The traction is just astonishing. And you have to remember, the car hasn't got any technology in it. You're just dealing with mechanical and aero grip. That's what makes it so shocking. So, turning, the car feels pretty much weightless. It just turns in so freely and just generates such a huge amount of grip on the front axle. Mid-corner, front and rear axle feels so balanced with dampening the spring rates. It just really is balanced perfectly. Exit, again, you can really lean on the front on the exit, and the limited slip differential really helps put that power down. It really is a monster.
So we've got a light and flow-formed alloy on here and an AP Racing brake caliper with RS29 padded pads and a semi-floating disc, which makes for just immense braking.
The brakes really have massive feedback. You can modulate the pressure and really control the car's loss of speed and really squeeze every last drop of performance out of the brakes and tyre compound. And at high speeds, the fact the car's got such massive downforce, you can really stand on the brakes hard and they won't lock up. But obviously, as you lose momentum, you have to ease off the pedal.
Here on the front clam as well, so you've got air intakes for the ducts for the braking, and also air intake for any kind of oil coolers or the radiator also, where the air rushes in and then an exchange here where all the hot air escapes. Details that are easily overlooked, like this little cutout here where the air rushes over into this box under the rear clam where the intercooler and the air filters are. Even little details like this window as well, it's angled in to allow the air to go into the rear clam to cool the engine better.
Noble use a 3 litre V6, a Getrag lump, which is twin turboed.
The engine produces over 500 horsepower, which feels absolutely monstrous with such little curb weight. And when you put all of the bits together, all the aero, the mechanical grip, the way the car's balanced, you can get the 0 to 60 in around 3 seconds, and it tops out about 170 miles an hour. It really is a potent tool. We are dealing with something very special here.
I love how Noble use a cable throttle body, so it gives that more organic feel. And if you look here, we've got the catch can that vents into the atmosphere. I love how the intercooler's all boxed off as well, and all the cool air rushes in from the clam. Let me give you some understanding the acceleration of this thing. Jesus Christ! That is just madness! No one needs more power. That's only describable as mechanical violence. That is a new experience. That is potent. The gearbox is so good in this car. It's a 6-speed Getrag unit, but you can go through the gears so quickly. It's so well set up for shifting incredibly quick. You can almost flat shift through the gears. It's just so good. It's so pronounced. It's so meaningful.
This car is heavily modified in comparison to the stock car. Here are the details on screen.
Oh look, we're at a set of traffic lights. Moving on to the interior, it's basic in here, but it all works very well. I think it's really beautifully finished. It's all Alcantara. Everything's aimed towards driver focus, even the seating position or how you're sat in the cabin. Even the footrest, it's like a little narrow strip of metal, just even more confirmation that the car's just completely aimed towards performance and nothing else. The roll cage, it's all integrated and covered with Alcantara. It really is beautiful. Most people don't want to get a car like this and be tested. So what is it then? Apart from seriously fast. It's a thing you desire but you don't quite understand. It's magnificent. Sometimes pieces of history are made by accident, and sometimes they're made by geniuses so decorated in their field that it leaves the rest of us perplexed. Aerodynamics pour from every angle, confirming to spectators it's a real McCoy. It's the forgotten hero. It's the last stand against electronic supervision. It's the glimmer of greatness that reminds you that you're still here and obliterates the walls that try to close in ever tighter. It's the true blaze of glory. If you have high octane running through your veins, you have to experience this car before your time escapes you. Its capacity to cover ground is so enormous, and that's what brings such huge risks. Mistakes at this level are most likely to be fatal. When you load the Noble up on its limits, you really have to be ready to trade with your maker. They say you're most alive when you're closest to death, and I've never believed that expression more than I have today. You can feel through the chassis that the creator Lee Noble was not corrupted by money. He was searching for something so much more than prosperity, and he found it. When the monumental amount of grip eventually runs out, there's nothing to soften the blow. Absolutely nothing to come between you and your conclusion. And that's what makes it so perfect. Do away with any interference, any method sent to dilute danger.
head straight into the line of fire and it will be there. The Noble cannot be forgotten.